Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch, the DC Sports edition. I am your host, CWall, checking in, as always, to give you all a rundown of everything that is happening this week in DC sports. I'm always ever so excited to join you all. As you all know, so we're going to get ready to get started soon as I think I don't have an update. We absolutely have an update. Absolutely have an update for certain. Going to probably get into a little bit of everything in this episode. Absolutely. Mystics. I'm going to talk Nats a little bit. Now I'm going to bring up some old stuff with the Nats, but nonetheless, we're going to talk about the Nats. Absolutely some Wizards. And then we will get to the Washington football team as well. Have you all been tuning in to the Washington football team training camp updates that we've been doing all throughout Washington football training camp? I hope you all have been checking those out. Tons of great information. We absolutely run down everything that's been happening in training camp to date. You for sure don't want to miss it. Earlier this week, I believe, what day is it? So we know it's Thursday. So this must have been on Tuesday, because that's how I got to keep up with the days. On Tuesday, we were blessed with Washington Post, Washington football team reporter, Nikki Jabvala. So she checked in and gave a lot of great information. So if you have not seen that episode yet, you absolutely want to go onto the CWall Sports and Entertainment Facebook page and make sure you scroll down a bit and check out the episode with Nikki and myself. So let's see. Everyone's checking in. As you can see, welcome again to Coaching from the Couch, the DC Sports edition. Of course, let's see who all has checked in. We absolutely know that Joy from the CWall team is always checked in. Some of the best, absolute best Washington football team fans and overall DC sports fans in general have checked in. Cameron Mingo, John Adams, Damon Thorne. I see Tina Moore has checked in. We absolutely always have to shout out Team Bullard, founder and CEO Lawrence Bullard, for checking in. He's not a Washington football team fan, you all. However, he shows a lot of love, and he hopes that the Washington football team does well so that he does not have to see all of us have a meltdown. Okay? So definitely don't want to see us have a meltdown. You all, my mama is on. I had to shout out my mother because she watches every single show, literally. So can you all say hello to Mama Waller, please? Please say hello to Mama Waller while we get checked in. And we make sure we like, love, and share this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. You all know the drill. Make sure you're sharing the show. Of course, you can always watch it later. But isn't it so much fun when we get to talk live about DC sports? We absolutely always want to talk live about DC sports because, as you all always know, when is there a dull moment in DC sports? You all know the answer. Y'all know the answer. Never. Absolutely never. So listen, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. Update on the Mystics. WNBA is back as of this past weekend. Few updates I want to share on the Mystics. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough is back. You know, she's one of the members of the Run It Back Mystics team. So she is back in the building. While her time with Washington has absolutely been brief, when she's out there, she's absolutely impactful. So she's 5'9" guard, only 4 games with the Mystics. But hey, listen, she's back. She absolutely makes an impact every time she's out there on the court. So want to welcome her back to the team. Can I just say, and Mystics fans, please check in. Two other Mystics updates I would like to share because Mystics aren't doing all that good right now. We'll get to that in a moment. Tina Charles. That girl is good. She is absolutely amazing and sat out last year. She was out during the 2020 season, but right now she is leading the league in scoring at 26.2 points per game. Okay, that's 6 points over the second leading scorer. We might see, hold on, because y'all know how I am about record breaking when you're in a Washington team jersey. Hey, check this out. Y'all better pay attention. Regardless of whatever happens with the Mystic season, we are watching history right now, folks. Absolute history. Tina Charles, she truly might end up having the greatest scoring season in WNBA history. Okay? That's big. That is huge. Seriously. Like, seriously, if you have not checked them out, you all know. Check it out because you want to see that history. You absolutely want to see that history going down. And she's having an amazing season. She's 32 years old, playing like she's going to be playing for many years to come. And I'm loving the energy and everything that she's bringing to the court, even with the Mystics having a losing record right now. Let's talk a bit about that. Right now, the Mystics are at 8-12. This Sunday's game, they go up against the defending champion Seattle Storm. We know this will not be an easy game. So, hey, listen, let's go back to playoffs. Right. So in the WNBA, the top 8 teams in the WNBA standings, they advance to the playoffs. Right now, I believe the team that's in the 8th spot, I think that's the Dallas Wings. The Mystics are a half game behind the Dallas Wings. Okay. That's just some information for you all to keep in mind as this continues to go on. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And here's why this is a big deal. So much talk about Alina Deladon coming back. You know, on last week's edition of Coaching from the Couch, we shared that video of Alina Deladon being very transparent, sharing how she's excited to be back on the court. She's been back practicing, but she has been clear. There is no timetable for her return. So with that being said, if there's no timetable for her return, I guess we all are sitting here like, well, can you come back on Sunday? Maybe can you come back like, next week sometime so that the Mystics have a chance to at least advance into the playoffs. As you all know, Alina Deladon has not seen playing time, live game playing time since they won the championship in 2019. Right? And remember, she was injured then, having many issues with her back. So more to come. There's still a chance. There's absolutely still a chance for the Mystics to make the playoffs, especially if Alina Deladon comes back. That's what everybody is waiting on. With the season that Tina Charles is having, couple that with the powerhouse that Alina Deladon is, even though she's been out, we know the girl is bad. So more to come. Let's keep a watch on it. Let's stay tuned because absolutely, I think the Mystics want to make a push. If Alina Deladon comes back, there's absolutely no reason why they wouldn't make a push for the playoffs. Seriously. So more to come. Let's keep a watch on it. We'll keep updating as time goes on and we'll see what happens. Nats fans, check in. Check in, Nats fans. Washington Nationals fans, please check in. Where are you? Have you all recovered from the fire sale? I think I'm still a little in shock by it all. But the Washington Post, I believe the author Jesse Doherty, had a an excellent article on the Nats and just everything that transpired during the time to shed a little bit more light on what the Nats were thinking regarding that fire sale and just everything that transpired. Let's be clear, and I'm seeing all of you all's comments here. I'm going to share Cameron. It's been a miserable season for the Nats. Whew. You can say that again. It has truly been just tough to watch. But in this article, I really appreciated having some of the backstory, right? This article went into Davey Martinez and his feelings, right? In that last day or so with Max Scherzer, and shared about them sitting in his office, poured up some whiskey. They even cried a little bit together. And David Martinez is quoted in this article as saying, wow, like it really happened. Life without Max, life without Trey. This will be different. And we're already seeing the remnants of how different this life is. I still can't believe they did it coming off of the World Series in 2019. The 2020 season, hey, listen, that was kind of like a wash, you would feel like, because it was the pandemic season. But just 21 months after winning the World Series, who would have thought that the Nats would trade Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, and 6 other players? Okay, now here's the thing. In return, the Nats got back 12 players. Okay, so you traded 8, you got back 12. And general manager Mike Rizzo really believes that this will not be a long rebuild. He's like, listen, the team gonna be back. They're gonna be back. Just don't worry about it. But when you think about it, trading Max Scherzer says for certain what we're seeing right now, and that is this season is a wash. It's over, it's done. I also have a very scary inkling that the trading of Trey Turner also says we're done for next year too. So we know 2021, a wrap. 2022, probably another wrap. So we're looking at 2023. All right, maybe that's not a long rebuild, because that's essentially the rest of this season, a wash for next, back on and popping in 2023. I can kind of deal with that. But that's still such a tough pill to swallow. I mean, when I was looking at the numbers of how much Steven Strasburg is getting paid, 7 years, $245 million, and had a season-ending surgery this year. This is not how you want to start out that contract. So that makes you feel some type of way. Then we all know the rumors and what folks say about the learners. Hey, the learners are being cheap, right? That was the whole conversation when it was Bryce Harper and the money that Bryce Harper wanted. There was definitely talks about the learners are just being cheap. And then Anthony Rendon, and it was like, well, do they sign Anthony Rendon? Do they sign Steven Strasburg? So it's definitely apparent that this team does not currently invest in their position players. That doesn't happen around here. Pitching, absolutely, they will invest in. Let's keep a watch on all of that. I think it is very important to continue to watch that, still trying to feel okay about it. Here was some other information. I think this is important, Nats fans and DC sports fans. Nats fans, this is important. right? This is important. Trey Turner's agents had been trying to work with the Nationals multiple times during the 2021 spring training. There was at least 3 proposals. Count them off. 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 proposals, right? Nats offered around 6 years, $100 million. This is what reports say. 6 years, $100 million. How do you all feel about that, baseball fans? Is that a good deal? Not so good? 6 years, $100 million. Trey and his agents didn't think it was a good deal. They didn't think. Conversations were supposed to pick up again this year. It didn't happen. Okay. Here's what Trey Turner is quoted in saying in his introductory press conference at Dodger Stadium. And he said, I've been pretty honest. I said I would talk about an extension whenever and waited for that to happen. And it didn't happen. So I've been told a lot of things over the last 2 years. And for me, actions speak louder than words. So I was like, they just didn't want to sign him. They weren't going to spend that money on him. Now, the draft was also, here was another point. The draft was also deep with shortstops. So I guess the Nats figured, hey, listen, we can get somebody else at a much cheaper price. It was tough. It's still a tough pill to swallow. I know fans, again, I think for me, it still is the shell shock of 21 months ago. We all down Constitution Avenue. We all down there celebrating a World Series, and now look. More to come. More to come. And let's be clear, and I'm now seeing, Tina, I'm seeing your comment. Hey, listen, if they trade Juan Soto, I'm just going to be like, my gosh. So let's just hope this was the fire sale that supposedly they were like, hey, for 10 years, we've been out here, we've been winning division titles, playoff games, and oh, by the way, we also won a World Series championship out of this. So I guess Mike Rizzo said, hey, listen, nothing's going to happen this year. Strauss is down. We're losing whatever good collateral, whatever we have of value, everything must go. And that was an everything must go sale for the ages, absolute ages. Moving on to Wizards. Wizards fans, check in. Need your like, love emoji for the Wizards fans. As Joy has placed here in the chat, there is still time to tag a friend to join the conversation. Absolutely. Wizards fans and Washington football team fans, there's absolutely something here for you for certain. Now, check this out. Wizards fans, Capital City Go-Go fans, who do you know that can play basketball? All right, open tryouts. And while I have this up for you all, please understand, let me read this off to you all so you all know. Okay, Capital City Go-Go is holding the team's 2021 open local player tryout at the Entertainment and Sports Arena. There will be 4 separate sessions on September 11th and September 12th. Okay, due to the pandemic and the safety, each session will only allow 30 players on a first-come, first-served basis. All right, you have to register online. Registration for the tryouts open today, August 19th. Session 1, basically the sessions are in the morning and the afternoon. Okay, so first of all, I need y'all to tag somebody you want to try out. Tag somebody that you all want to try out for this. Because, hey, listen, if you can play, the Capital City Go-Go needs your help. And maybe so do the Wizards. So, sessions are session 1 on September 11th, 9 to 12. Session 2, also on September 11th, 2 to 5. And then the very next day, that's Sunday, September 12th, same times for the session. Listen, registration is open. Tag your people. I know you all know somebody that can play, that can still play. Listen, maybe we'll try out. Maybe I'll go. You just never know what can happen. Try out, tag your basketball coaches, your local basketball players, everybody that be down there at Watts and Berry Farms, the Goodman League. Let them know. Capital City Go-Go, they having tryouts, okay? I thought that was a very, very important note. Very important. Now, Wizards fans, listen. Have we talked at all about the off-season moves? Have we? Because I definitely want to share a video with you all. I think it's important. Of Tommy Shepard when he met with the media just last Friday, right? To talk about the off-season moves and what he thinks each player will bring to the table. So what I'm about to share this video, it was a question asked by NBC Sports Washington, Chris Miller. But while you're listening to this, drop in the chat, how are you feeling about the Wizards off-season moves?
During the playoffs, obviously some injuries had to do with that. But after you made these transactions, where would you say your talent level is without obviously playing a game yet?
Well, you got to factor in that we lost a Hall of Fame player in the backcourt with Russell, but you gained a lot more flexibility at the wings in the backcourt with adding Pope and Aaron. Everybody can kind of bump both positions, bringing Neto back in the backcourt. At least you solidified that area. And then the wings we're really excited about because I think Pope can play 2 and 3. I think Kyle can play the 3 and the 4. And really excited about what Trez can do. He just goes out. He's an energy person that brings so much to the table. I think he can play multiple positions. And then we added with Corey. I think is going to be an excellent knockdown shooter for us. Somebody that we want to add. And then I was referring to when we ran out of town, like just losing Davis really hurt. We're getting Thomas Bryant back. Davis has been playing in some pre-European qualifiers. Played against Belarus and Romania, is playing very well. He's back to what we expect him to be, and I'm excited for his future. Getting in September early and staying healthy, having a great camp will mean the world to us. And then, we obviously added Isaiah Todd for the future, but he's very convinced that he can help us, and I'm never going to say no. Let him go prove it for himself. But I think Chris to really reflect back on last season and what we needed moving forward. We needed more players that are ready to play now, and we didn't sacrifice the future. We didn't do anything other than try to replenish those positions. The defensive wings, I think we addressed, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Let me know how you all are feeling about it, because I don't think we've really talked about the off-season moves. I've seen a lot of analysts and overall just memes around, Tommy Shepard got rid of CWall's enormous contract and in return has brought in, 6 or 7 different players, which is true. That's true. It all remains to be seen for me. All of it, because there's a new head coach. Brad is still there. Brad is still there. Right now, what time is it? Brad is still there. And given his relationship with several of the players that the team has picked up, we'll see what happens. Absolutely see what happens. There was definitely more in that press conference when Tommy Shepard also talked about, the defense and the improvements that are needed there. And just the energy and the change and the fact that Brad is like the only consistent player in the last few years, right? The roster changes drastically from year to year. So with the new coach, new players, still the idea and the thought of building around Brad, because that's what they've done, and that's what they are doing. it's just a wait and see. Can't really call it. You just cannot call it in today's NBA. So not for me, honestly, it's not. I'm not overly excited. We'll see what happens. And the reason why I'm not overly excited is because of simply this. You know, last year I was overly excited, and you all know once you and my media colleagues will tell you this too. When you're a fan of the team, and once you come on the media side of things and the business side of things, the excitement just isn't the same anymore, because you have to be extremely objective in how you view the team, the organization, the team, the game, and it's a difference. But last year, I got excited, right? Because you got excited because it said, hey, wait, John Wall and Bradley Beal are back. They're back together again. We've been waiting 2 years for this. Then John Wall got traded. Okay, all right. But in comes Russell Westbrook. And you like, well, yes, we were absolutely waiting 2 years for that. But Russell Westbrook is a future Hall of Famer. Now we know that he's the triple-double king. We saw that history being made in a Washington Wizards jersey. And you're excited because he's played on the highest level, and you're just excited for his energy and his leadership with this very young team. So you're like, okay, listen. One thing that I could agree with that Tommy said way back then is, hey, listen, in order to pick up one of the best guards in the league, you got to trade one of the best. And it was like, all right, Tommy, you win. But now Russell Westbrook is gone. So it really is a wait and see game. Let's see what happens. Let's hope everybody stays healthy, because injuries absolutely do matter. And then we'll go from there. More to come, as you all know. More to come, as always. Now, before we close out, you all know that there's one team we still have to talk about. You guys know that. You know that. And what team might that be? Yes, the Washington football team. Washington football fans, check in. Need your like and love emojis. There's absolutely still time to tag in your DC sports loving family and friends. Absolutely want the Washington football team fans to check in. Their preseason game too. Tomorrow night, Washington football versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. Anybody going? Who will be there? Listen. A lot to watch for. I see all of the fans checking in, but before we get to the game stuff, have you all seen the contest that's going on? Have you all seen this? The Fan 53, CWall Sports and Entertainment. We are pulling together a contest specifically for fans to put together your list of the 53 players that will make the final roster. So you need to submit your best guess at who will make the team. Shoot your shot. The fan with the most correct responses will win a special prize. There's posts on the CWall Sports and Entertainment page and all throughout Instagram. You will continue to see this posted. Make sure your best guess. You never know. It's totally free to enter. You just never know. You might get it. So, hey, shoot your shot. You never know, right? On the CWall Sports and Entertainment page, find the link, submit your guess. You're going to love it. You never know. You might win. You might get all 53 right. The last submissions will go in, or should be, or we're going to shut it down by the end of the last preseason game. Okay, so by the end of the last preseason game, we're shutting all that down. Okay, because then they're going to be making their decisions after that. So Make sure you all enter to win. Now, let's talk about the thing that I probably am always like, do I have to talk about this? Yes, you have to talk about this because it is part of sports news. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, this might be appearing a little smaller on your screen, but make sure, let's look at this. In the Making the Brand video recently that came out, oh, it was so much talk about the images that were shared in the video, right? Of course, fans have just, wow, these are the options. No, those are not the options, you all. Those are just concepts. Those are concepts that have been submitted, ideas that have been thrown around. Washington football team president Jason Wright posted this tweet early this morning and says, just to be clear, because everyone keeps asking, we are down to and working through a final 3, but this is no form of final 8 list. These are just a selection of names that happened to show up in the video our team produced. Okay? All types of verified accounts have ran with the Making the Brand series and have said their final list was those 8. And what Jason is saying is, no, this is not. Okay? So, listen, just let them do what they do. All right? That it was already a known thing. Like, fans are going to go crazy. They're going to absolutely think that one of these concepts that was shown, they're going to absolutely think that's the exact logo, and they're going to absolutely think that it's one of these 8. And what Jason has just told you is, no, it's not. So I would probably do the reverse. Probably everything they showed is probably not on the list of final 3. That's why they showed it. Trying to give you all an inside look into the process and what they've been doing and what they've been looking at, but it wasn't from the perspective of it's one of these. So now let me go ahead and say this out loud to whom it may concern. I will be so glad when this part is over. Really, seriously, like just pick a name. I want to say what I've always said, and that's I actually like the Washington football team. And I told you all the story of why I like the Washington football team. It does not have to be, that is the name, the Washington football team. That's the name. And here's a very hard truth. You can't make everyone happy. Regardless of whatever they choose, there's going to be some people very upset. So, hey, look, just keep it what it is. Kind of getting used to seeing the W. It's all right. More to come, but I will be absolutely glad when we can zip that, lock that, and put that into all of our pockets, because we know that part of the story is absolutely over. Absolutely over. And I see one of my media colleagues, Darrell Owens from Legacy Maker Sports Network, has checked in, and we've all discussed this on the media side about the name. And it's like, just what it is exactly what Joy is saying, and exactly just win, baby, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, not the name, not the name. So we're at completion of the show. Make sure you check in and let us know that you're watching the preseason game. We will be doing a preseason game 2 recap. So we absolutely want to recap that game. That is very recap that game. I think there's going to be a lot that needs to be proven and needs to be shown in game 2. We already know that Kyle Allen, we talk about quarterback competition, right? Ryan Fitzpatrick not going to play so much. Taylor Heineke, Kyle Allen is going to play tomorrow night. Could he potentially be a player that is fighting for a roster spot? Could be. It's not like Ron Rivera was disgusted by Steven Montez. You never know. They're going to carry 3. They got 4 out there that has already gone out there to play. So Kyle Allen will be out there. I know that tight end Sammy's Reyes is becoming a favorite of the team, right? Becoming a favorite of the team. But Sammy's Reyes is in concussion protocol. And I'm concerned that if he's not able, this is probably the second time Sammy's has been injured. He was injured and like during Friday night, it was the knee, it was impressive to some. So that was great. That was a great thing. But the challenge here is you have to be able to prove yourself. Now, if the other tight ends don't show up, Sammy's could absolutely still have a great chance at making this roster. But him not being able to play is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. He's on my list, but we'll see what happens. Continue to watch the wide receiver position, right? Still trying to figure out how many wide receivers are they going to even keep, right? That's a lot to be seen there. We saw some things that need to be fixed. Please let Dustin Hopkins make field goals tomorrow. Please let the linebackers be able to tackle, because remember last we were talking about the little things. These are the little things that must be done. Little things that go a long way. Right? So we want to be looking at the little things. It doesn't have to be fancy play calling. The little things. Catch the football. So we saw that happening. Folks were catching the football, but make the tackle, make the field goal. We'll see. More to come. I think there's going to be some key things that everyone will need to be watching for. And if you are going to submit your fan 53, you definitely want to be taking your notes so that you can get the most answers right, or maybe you'll get all 53 right. Never know. Listen, you all, it's always a pleasure to connect with you all on Thursdays to do a rundown of every single thing that is going on in DC sports right now. Like I said, we'll be doing a training camp or a preseason game to recap, as well as training camp update. You know, next week is the final week of training camp, final full week of training camp, practice every single day. And then the third preseason game next Saturday. So it's a lot coming up. Absolutely, we'll do a preseason game 2 recap. So make sure you have your notifications turned on for when we go live to do that. And just keep watching. Keep the eyes out for the notifications. Joy will let everyone know when we're going live. And hey, listen, you all, like I said, it's a pleasure. Be safe. And I will see you all on the next Washington football team training camp update.